Individuals wishing to speak on agenda items must complete a sign-up card prior to the item being introduced. Sign-up cards are available on the table. Individuals wishing to speak on non-agenda items may do so under petitions and requests. No sign-up card is required. Citizens will be given 3 minutes to speak on all agenda items. All sign-up cards and exhibits being submitted to the CRA shall be placed in the box on the table.
The purpose of the City Council meeting is to discuss city business, and proper decorum must be displayed by all in attendance. Public input and participation is encouraged. However, all persons in attendance shall comply with the rules for meeting procedures and shall refrain from any action that disrupts the orderly proceedings of the council meeting or hinders a council from performing its duties. No person shall interfere with the rights of others to speak, hear, see, or attend the proceedings, make threats of violence, disrupt the proceedings with shouting, fail to confine remarks to the agenda item under consideration, nor continue to speak after the allotted speaking time has expired, as these actions shall be considered disruptive and disorderly. The mayor shall caution any person who violates these provisions and disrupts the orderly proceedings of the council meetings, and they shall be directed to comply. Any person who fails to comply, as cautioned, shall be ruled out of order, shall forfeit the remainder of their speaking time on the agenda item under consideration, and will be requested to return to their seat. Persons who fail to comply as directed shall be subject to removal from the council chambers by law enforcement or such other actions as may be reasonably necessary to enforce these regulations. Notwithstanding, the mayor may order the immediate removal of any person from the chambers who possesses a threat to property or life safety. Nothing in this section shall be construed to limit or restrict a person's right created by the Constitution, law, ordinance, or regulation.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the City of Titusville Community Redevelopment Agency regular meeting, April 14th, 2026 at 5:30. I call this meeting to order. City Attorney, do we have a quorum?
Yes.
For the invocation, we will have a moment of silence. Please bow your heads. Thank you. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Board members, can I have a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
I have a motion by Member Nelson, second by Vice Chair Cole. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, everybody. Executive Director.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, Vice Chairman, and members of the board. The first item on the agenda is under Old Business 7A is the Trail Town Amenities Strategic Plan Draft Report. Recall back in September of 2025, the CRA Board approved funding not to exceed $40,000 to retain a consultant to develop a comprehensive Trail Town Amenities Strategic Plan for the CRA. And this is a presentation of the draft Downtown Trail Amenities Strategic Plan for your review and comments. And Sue Williams has some slides.
This isn't the entire packet. This is a reduced slideshow.
If you recall, the staff proposed to you coming up with this report because we'd received over the many years from you several various requests, and we suggested to you coming up with something more strategic so that we can pull from this report and utilize CRA dollars in a more efficient manner. The plan that we're going to present to you is, we're not going to show you everything in here, we're just going to highlight a couple of things in here, and we really just want to get your input. I have already heard that maybe one suggestion is to propose some kind of phasing in this with a price, that's part of that phasing. We can certainly do that. The crux of this is really three types of enhancements or street furniture to try and accommodate the three regional trails that will be coming into the city and try and accommodate pedestrian traffic in our downtown. And so the base one is called a base node, and it includes a bench, a bicycle rack, or waste receptacle. And then you also have an enhanced node, which includes the base node plus a wayfinding sign and pedestrian lighting. And then there's the trail hub, which includes both the base node, enhanced node, with some additional amenities in there as well. And so Kimberly Horn was hired to come up with this strategy for you. This is the concept they proposed. They proposed a map identifying where these could potentially be located. You can see on your agenda on page 44 of your packet, the map itself. I won't go through this in detail either. I'll just point out that they tried to strategically locate these base nodes, enhanced nodes, in different locations that they thought were most efficient. And then on the next page, page 45 of your packet, you'll see the completed version as if everything was placed within the downtown. Again, this does not include a phasing plan or a schedule as to how to implement this. This could be implemented based on a pay-as-you-go. If you have the funds available, pick and choose out of this what you would like to have implemented first. Or we can come back to you with a more specific plan, of maybe a plan of action, a 5-year plan, whatever that might be, and present that back to you so you can use that and adopt it, and then we can budget accordingly for the next few years. With that, I'll try to answer any questions you have.
Member Nelson.
I must say, I like it. I was really surprised at how many basic nodes we had downtown, but obviously we can't do it all at once. So what I would suggest is maybe every 4 blocks we have a basic node. The map sort of looks like every block we're supposed to have a node. And that seems a little excessive. Maybe as time goes by, we might want that. But I think starting out, doing it every four blocks, every 6 blocks, whatever you guys think, would be more doable.
Member Moscoso.
Thank you. Yes, I would agree with Member Nelson. My only suggestion or recommendation would be, is it possible where we have these base nodes, if we work with the Titusville tree team and get a tree planted? Because I think that's one of the issues, at least in the summer. If there's no shade, people are most likely not going to be sitting there for long. And so perhaps that's something we can collaborate with them on. Thank you.
We can do that.
Member Nelson.
Or tree boxes. Tree boxes. If we get more tree boxes, maybe that's an idea. I don't know if that works or not.
I mean, with each of these, if you're leaving it up to us to come up with maybe a long-term plan of how this can possibly be implemented, we can propose where we think trees might be appropriate with each of these nodes. Just so to remind you, we are doing an urban forest plan that's in the works now. That might,
Overlap.
when that's completed, it might overlap with this.
Yeah.
Member Stokel.
Yes, just a clarification question. Are you requesting direction from us regarding specifically the trail amenities, and which one of these do we like? Which ones do we want to do first? Like, what would you like to hear from us?
This is open-ended. So basically, we're just trying to find out whether we're going in the right direction
Okay.
when you agreed for us to go ahead and do this.
Okay, so, and this is specifically only for the trail town amenities. So when we're talking about what are we doing to kind of market our trails
Yes,
specifically?
yes.
Okay, and then if we like all 3 of them, or if we want to focus on just the base node, or do we want to do a combination of, sometimes there might be a base node in one area and then an enhanced?
Yes, it would, yeah, any input you can provide on this will be helpful. Otherwise, we'll come
Okay.
up with a strategy.
Okay. Yeah, I think I like it, and I feel like we've talked about ways that we can market our trails more, and it's nice to see. I feel like more people are using the trails. I feel like every time I'm out on the weekends, I see bikers. I'll go stop in downtown and there's bikers in there. So I feel like they're getting utilized, and I would anticipate them getting utilized more. So I like all the things here. I guess my concern would be just how do we balance them out with like the funds that we have. So I would almost defer to staff on seeing, where does it seem best to place some of these, and kind of what was mentioned already, does it make sense if we're going to have a bench? It probably would be nice to be shaded, otherwise many people might not use that bench. Yeah, probably just more like balancing out how much does it cost, does it make sense? How far away should they be from each other before we put another one there? But I will tell you, it was really nice to see so much action in our area, especially as people were here for the launch. And then just driving through and seeing people looking and stopping at the maps. I'm like, yes, let's be like this all the time. So it was really nice. So I appreciate you guys putting in this work, because I think that we're going to continue to see it, and having people comment probably on our things and being like, oh, this is nice that we have this. So thank you.
Thank you, Member Stokel. I'm looking on page 15 of the 48-page PowerPoint. I don't know exactly where it is in your
Sorry,
packet.
page 50?
15.
15.
Of the PowerPoint. And they did an analysis of where we currently stand, and district ranking, connectivity 4 out of 5 stars, comfort 5 out of 5 stars, identity 4 out of 5 stars, economic activation 3 out of 5 stars. So if we're looking at putting in more amenities, which, according to their assessment, might not necessarily be exactly needed, but to Member Stokel's point, how are we marketing our bike trails to get more people into the city? And I think when we look at being strategic about placing different items along our trails, we got to figure out what kind of, how many people that's going to generate to come into our city, go downtown, shop our local businesses, and things like that. I'm not a bike rider. I don't know if anybody up here is. I don't know if y'all are, but there is an organization, the Greenway Trails folks, and they bike everywhere all the time. So, maybe a very poignant question of what would bring you to Titusville, what is unique, I think would help us as we try to budget and prioritize the highest and best use of the limited funds we have in terms of a return on investment. So that's my thoughts. Member Moscoso.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. I used to bike the Cross Seminole Trail over in Oviedo, and that goes like, I think 35 miles in that area. But I did it with my kids, and we would pick parts of the trail that had stops. So if there was a place to get ice cream, things like that. And so perhaps that could be, if we could market it as come ride with your kids, and here's a great spot in downtown to grab some ice cream. Or if you're older, here's a great spot to grab a beer. And so kind of mix those two together, because I think, especially as a mom with kids, we're not going to be going miles and miles. But if my kids know ice cream is on the menu, they'll want to come out, and it kind of gets you downtown too. So I don't know if we could somehow incorporate that into any of the marketing that we do. That would be great, and we might already be doing that.
We can do that. We can work with, Sue at Redevelopment and our Economic Development Director on that.
I have a comment on that one. I actually spoke with some local bicycle people, Titusville Cycling Group, and actually I was connected with them through the Main Street reorganization group. And very fascinating. One of the major points he was saying is that create the destination, whether it's, a shaded area, ice cream, beer, whatever, so that's something that we're looking at as well.
Thank you very much. City Clerk.
There's 2 cards. The first one's Tony Schiflo.
Good evening, Schifelo Tropic Street. I have no comments on the Kimley-Horn vision for the bike trail. You should remember my opinion of Kimley-Horn's visions for Titusville. But rather in keeping with the main street, the bike trail and everything, I want to talk about the no man's land segment over the railroad tracks and I know it's outside the purvey of the CRA, but what I want you to do is to consider the gestalt when you're thinking about the improvements to the downtown, because in view of the eventual gentrification of town west of the railroad tracks on Main Street, the bike trail connection should remain visible to council, not so much the CRA, I guess. Because even though it's outside, you know, the Coast to Coast Bike Trail connects to the downtown area on a 2-block distance of Main Street with no discernible trail markings, hard to find signage, and a dangerous path from the CRA bike trail leading directly into eastbound traffic on Main Street. I experienced that at the launch of Artemis, riding my bike. Wow, you cross over the railroad tracks, and if it hadn't been for the 500 people walking through and across the tracks and right down the eastbound lane of Main Street, I probably wouldn't have gotten home for hours. So I want to consider that little connection, and I know it's difficult because of the non-cooperation of the railroad, but I think we have to keep that in mind as we're planning these bike trail amenities. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. City Clerk?
Lisa Mosier.
Evening. One thing that I want you guys to think about when you're looking at this, and I had told I told Sue and then also the Kimberly Horn and stuff, there is a portion of downtown that's missing the sidewalks and bike areas, is Orange Street and Lemon. In fact, I was at Orange Street at the downtown gallery today, and I'm looking, and there's no sidewalks, there's nothing there to connect that small little area that is still part of the CRA and still part of our downtown, and that could help bring others there. As for bikers, we used to bike, and part of it is we don't have a destination here. There was a group of us, we would ride up to New Smyrna Beach, spend the night, walk around, and then ride back. We spent lots of money. So we have some things here, but we don't have it all. We need to look at, you know, looking for opportunities for restaurants and stuff, but also for Airbnbs or hotels or something. So we're missing that. And bikers spend billions of dollars in the economy, billions. Yes, their bikes are $5,000, $10,000. They bike, and so they bring in a lot of dollars. Look at Winter Gardens. So when you're looking at it, just look at the whole picture, and let's not forget little parts because we don't have the connectability there. Thank you.
Thank you. Member Nelson?
Question. I thought Orange Street, Lemon Street, the sidewalks were on the schedule, or that we were looking at doing sidewalks.
I sent myself an email to check it out.
Somehow in the back of my head, yeah.
And you are correct. Remember
Thank you.
Member Nelson, you're correct. That was budgeted, and there still are funds in that budget line item for new sidewalks.
That's what I thought. Okay. Okay, so the question is when? Okay. Sue might have the answer. No. Okay. So the question's when? Okay, thanks.
And just one last thing to consider as FDOT plans the bike trail up US 1 along the east side, is do we have like an entry point into downtown? And as I'm thinking about it and talking out loud, I think we have a little spot of city land on those four corners there that could be a great entry point to downtown.
That was also recommended as a hub.
Thank you very much. Member Nelson, do you have something to add?
So are you thinking about the piece of property that used to be the city garage?
It's the piece of property that has the historic, welcome to historic downtown Titusville sign on the left side as you go up north on Washington. Right across the street on that other corner is city property. On the south corner, southeast corner, and southwest corner. So we own basically all four corners of that intersection.
Okay. There's also a piece of property as you come off the overpass, headed into downtown, which is also city property. And that it's got some beautiful oak trees on it. So it's out of the CRA, but potentially That would make a really pretty area to stop at. Very shaded.
Member Stokel?
Yes, this is related, kind of, but you said something that made me think of it. Do we have an update on the trail that's going along US 1? I know there was discussions on whether it would be on the east side or the west side.
Yes and no at the same time.
Okay.
So FDOT wanted to put the trail on the west side because of cost. We obviously pushed back against that,
Right.
and it's going to be on the east side. It's just,
Okay.
it's now going to be more money. So what they're going to do is they're going to start at like 50 and get as far north as they possibly can in this funding cycle. However, there could be some additional opportunities with central office budget funds from other
Okay.
trails that may have fell through that we may be able to reprogram to this trail to, hopefully get it all the way downtown.
Okay. I'm just hoping if there's anything we can do, or if we need to bring in our lobbyist or something, I would like to push and make sure it's on that east side, if we can.
Yeah, I don't think east side or west side. I think it's for sure going to be on the east side.
Okay, okay, good.
That's not the issue. The issue is they can't go as far doing it on that side. So, with limited funds, they're going to start at 50 and kind of work their way north. But there was a project, if you remember from the Governor Rick Scott era, that has money allotted to it that will probably never be completed in terms of a coast-to-coast bike trail. And therefore, I'm working with the TPO to see if those trail funds from central office could be reprogrammed to complete this bike trail.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
But yes, that'd be anything that comes up before it. Once I have more information, I'm happy to pass that along to you as my report as a TPO member.
Okay. Thank you.
Member Moscoso?
Thank you. I would agree. I feel like once you get out of the CRA, there are some spots, there aren't sidewalks. It's like you're entering a whole nother city. And I don't know if Ms. Schiflo was talking about this section. I know that there's an auto parts store, and then behind it is where you get on the trail. Do we have any markers there? Because I know when I first moved here and I was trying to figure out how to get on the trail, I wasn't sure until I was pretty far on it. It's really hard to know. That's even the beginning of the trail. And I think there could be a lot. I know this is out of the CRA, but like she said too, some connectivity and then trail markings, because that area is, if you've been down there, it's a little scary if you're even in the daytime, because you just don't know if you're even on the right trail at that time.
So you did give us direction to go forward and try and incorporate Main Street or portion of Main Street into this program.
Okay.
Because it's outside the CRA, we couldn't include it in this scope. So that's a separate scope of work altogether. And we will be coming to the council in the future to ask for funds to help do that, to come up with a study similar to this, just for that portion.
And do we need, just for kind of an immediate fix, is it possible for us to look at pricing for just a sign that says trail this way? Because it's just very confusing. Once you get out of the CRA, it's like you're just dropped in the middle of nowhere and you don't know where you're going.
Can you describe where you're talking about again?
Yeah, so if you're following the bike trail from downtown, and you know how it goes over Garden Street, so it kind of goes behind, like there are a lot of older cars and yeah, so you go through this area and then you go over Garden Street. But to get on that trail to go over Garden Street, the entrance is not marked at all. And so if we could even have a sign that said, trail this way, that would be really helpful.
Okay, so the part that it's kind of missing, that they're going to look into something on how to get back to the trail where it goes over the pedestrian bridge.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
I will look into that too. I'll
Thank you.
myself
Send
another
yourself an email. Thank you.
Any further discussion? All right, at this time, I'll entertain a motion to approve the draft downtown trail amenities master plan. And if anybody has any tweaks, include that in your motion clearly, please. Member Nelson.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by Member Nelson, a second by Vice Chair Cole. City Manager, did you have something?
Oh, no, sir.
Okay. Any further discussion from this board? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much. Executive Director.
Moving on to, next item is 8A, new business, and that is the FY 2027 Community Redevelopment Agency preliminary budget. Now, we're still several months away from having any exact revenue projections. So this is just the first look at what the proportions as far as funding using last year's as baseline for the various elements in the CRA budget. And we do have a presentation on that.
Good evening. As the city manager and director said, that this is it's like preliminary, okay? This is really, we are using last year's numbers, and it's really to obtain direction from you all. This is where we thought you might want it, and because of past discussions, but we want you to take a look at this. So again, this is our budget process. We bring it to you now, and then we will be bringing it to you in the future when we get hard numbers, real numbers. Again, it will always come back to you. That also listed to note, which I know you all do realize, that a lot of the capital expenses straddle years, and we have several of them now. So the estimated revenues, again, based on last year, the estimated TIF from the city and the county, the total was $1,141,000. Looking at, we do have debt. This was from 2009. It will be paid off in 2030. And then these are some of the operating and personnel expenses that you'll see. So let me know if you have any questions on this. I think you're familiar with the policing, the auditing, promotional supplies, things of that nature. If you have any questions, just please let me know. So here we go. It's the revenue and the debt service and the personnel operating, leaving approximately $554,000 of funding available for projects. So these are the recommended capital projects currently that we know what's happening. We have the building grant program, trail town amenities with a note in there that would be to implement some of the strategic plan. The infrastructure, which that is new cement going in portions of Indian River and Riverside Drive so that it all matches and to create a more positive experience there. Also the infrastructure repaving CRA side streets. That will occur. The money needs to be there. FDOT has said that is going to cost approximately $365,000. Last year, $244,000 was allotted through this, and it's in a separate account, infrastructure, which we'll see. But so this added to that we'll be able to meet that $365,000 when FDOT says that they need those funds. That was the decision that was made by this board, that once they pave the northbound on US 1, all of the streets in between through the CRA, so it would be matching. Okay. Then the Main Street program is $75,000. Again, that's up and coming, and we're working on that. And the police and auditing is $35,000. And I'm able to entertain any questions on that if you have any.
Seeing none.
Okay.
Member Stokel?
Sorry. Sue, do you know, with our grant program currently, are we finding businesses to apply for the grants? Is it getting funded? How's that going right now?
We are using much more of the funds from
We are,
when I
okay.
first started. I'm expecting 2 more to come in, and one might be a little large. So we'll see. Sometimes they don't always fall just like the other capital projects. They don't fall exactly in that year, but then it seems to roll in that next year, and it'll be more than that 100 or 110,000.
Okay. And I think for me personally, that's the program that I like the most, and it was mentioned, I think Lisa mentioned it. If we're having tourists come here, do we have things for them to do once they are biking in our area? And then so as much as we can help support businesses to be able to open up and thrive there, I think we've made a lot of progress. I just don't think we're there yet. So that's personally what I like to see that program and the funds being used for, is how can we help businesses to be successful and open in our downtown area. And then I appreciate the infrastructure things. And I know we've talked about lighting in the past, and the police auditing, just as we have it, just making sure our citizens feel safe in that area is important to me. So I know it's preliminary, but thank you.
City Clerk?
There's one card, Stan Johnston.
I'm still allowed to have them. I think I am until we make a decision. I believe. My name is Stan Johnston, and
I think you all know that I'm disappointed with a number of things that have happened in the city, including the CRA area and those people who are in the CRA. I'm talking about things like fraud, dishonesty, violation of our Constitution. I think in the budget, maybe we could put in some time for studying law, such as, for example, water flows downhill in the city. What they're doing is they're taking private property against the Constitution, which is what? A violation of your oath of office.
You're
And you
officially
also-
cautioned for not being on topic.
I swear to tell the truth, my hand's on the Bible, to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Okay. Mr. Connors, I sent you an email today about 5 o'clock. It has to do with you and I and your dishonesty in this regard.
Mr. Johnson, I'm going to invite you to take a seat. You forfeit the rest of your time for not being on topic.
Okay, I would like to talk about what I'm here to talk about, and that is, I'm
Please have a
asking you
seat.
to recuse yourself
Have a seat.
because you are
Am I
in
going to have
violation
the
of
officer
many things.
to ask you to leave?
Okay, last time I remember that you didn't answer my question. What did you do? You
Please
threatened
have
to, you
please have a
threatened to, what? You threatened to crush me. Remember
Officer,
that?
please take
Crush
this
me.
gentleman out. We're not
Crush me.
following the rules. You're out of order.
I'm leaving. I'm good now.
Any other cards, City Clerk?
There's no other cards on this
Thank you
item.
very much. I'll entertain a motion from the board. Member Nelson?
Is indicating no action is required.
Now that we're on item A, the preliminary budget, and it says please provide direction, so I just want to make sure the direction is clear. So do you feel good with the proposal?
I
as
feel
is?
good with the proposal, so the motion would be to accept the proposal.
Second.
I have a motion from Member Nelson, a second from Vice Chair Cole. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much. Executive Director?
Yes, sir. The next item under new business is 8B, the fiscal year 2025 financial statements for the CRA audit. As you know, each year the CRA is required to file an annual report and a complete financial statement for the preceding year. The report was filed March 10th, and it was approved at the CRA, or at the city's regular council meeting. The CRA has been provided courtesy copies of the annual report, and the audit has been provided to the taxing authorities in the county and published on the CRA website as per state statute. This is just notification of CRA that this event has occurred.
Any questions? Seeing none? City Clerk?
There's one card, Keith Edwards.
Members, I would like to apologize for the last time I was here. I left laughing hilariously. I'm not sure if it was because the fact of the size of our poster boards are more important than people being homeless, or we're not having an audit. So it's kind of like, I've always heard this is a joke. Now we're talking about the audit. We've had theft. I just want to get in costume so that you understand me, Mayor, because it's been a joke. I request a forensic audit. I want to know who's been stealing our tax money. I want them in jail. If any of you guys go out and do thieving, you're going to get arrested. Now, there is no reason in the world that we're going to cover this up, and I'm not going to give this up. I'm not at all. And I've just, if I have to run for a seat and keep it going, I will. It's over. It's time to look at the truth. It's time to take off the clown makeup and talk about what we really need to talk about. Where's this money gone? Who has covered it up? And why aren't they in jail? Because it's about time that we do something. Now, you want to sit on your butts and you don't want to go and you want to cover it up. It's just one guy, one lawnmower. You go ahead. But then you're going to be a part of that crime. And if I get into that seat, I'm going to push hard as hell to put your asses in jail. It's not right. It's not fair. The city of Titusville, the citizens are demanding an audit. Every time I turn around, Mayor, you're trying to mute the audience. We're going to talk about too big of a board, too small of a board. That audit wasn't an audit. That guy left here with his tail running as fast as he could. There was no questions asked from our citizens about that audit. I got a Webster dictionary. I got a computer. I can tell you the definitions between the different audits. Where's the numbers? Where's the people that's been covering this up? The citizens are tired. You're more worried about going out and having a nice mayor's dance and all this. Why don't you give something back to the city? We haven't had an Indian River Festival in I don't know how long. Now we've got some good restaurants coming in, but you're down there kissing babies and shaking hands. You don't have me fooled for 1 minute. If you really, really want to see the bullshit
Thank
you
you.
sling,
Have a seat.
go get you a Bavard News hat.
Have a seat.
Thank you for your time.
All righty. I don't know what that had to do with the CRA, but now we're on to petitions and requests from the public.
Hi, my name's Lisa Mosier, Indian River Avenue. One thing I did notice during the launch, which was great, I mean, I'm really old, so I remember what they used to be like. Signage around town, period, is, for especially parking and stuff like that. We have people like going from the right-hand lane to the left-hand lane into a parking thing, and I don't know if we can look, if Public Works can look at, you know, the signage for some of the parking, even on the side streets and stuff. It was just like, it was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. I'm surprised we didn't have more accidents than what we did. So maybe if we could look at that too, just signage around the city. All right, thanks.
Thank you very much. It's pretty impressive to have probably almost 200,000 people come to our city and no police incidents. I mean, I think we may have had 1 or 2 fender benders and everybody had a good time and enjoyed the launch. Seeing none other petitions or requests for this meeting, Executive Director, your report.
Yes, sir. All the items under the Executive Director report are just informational activities conducted by the CRA planner over the past month.
Any questions? Member Nelson?
Oh, Tom, I don't know if you want to talk about what steps we've taken, what steps you've taken to resolve some of these issues regarding audits, what steps we're taking to monitor, or you want to wait? I know you were going to do it at the end of our meeting.
As council desires, I have submitted as part of the city manager's report an update on the actions taken to date on the internal audit. If council desires, so I can give you an update now or wait until the city manager's report.
Why don't you go ahead and do it twice?
Okay. So, again, we did an update on the audit. Among the items, we have hired an asset manager, and she has a master's in public administration. She was previously on the staff at the county in the asset management division, and she doing a great job already, and I think you're going to be pleased with an initial report coming out here in the next couple of weeks about our physical asset. There's some good news coming, and I don't have the particulars yet, but it's going to be perceived positively. We have established a fraud hotline and a fraud website, and we're developing. It's actually gone live. It was originally scheduled to go May 1st, but we've actually are ahead of schedule. We have removed all the personal property from the former water supervisor, field ops water supervisors' personal property has all been removed from the site. We've reduced the P card controls, $2,500 on all single transactions. We've We're looking at reducing the number of P cards and improving internal controls. We are scheduling onboarding training for all staff in waste, fraud, and abuse and misappropriation of property. We have Carr, Riggs, and Ingham, a third-party auditor coming in to actually do a presentation. It'll be part of onboarding and periodic refresher training, and it'll be entered into all personnel records. So we're doing a lot to, correct the deficiencies noted in the audit. We're also, the Assistant State Attorney is going to have a hearing on the 28th of April for the field ops supervisor, and we are seeking full restitution as provided by law for the items. The total amount is probably going to be less than $10,000, but we're taking every measures we can to recuperate whatever was lost by the city. So that's just some of the measures that we're doing, and we're moving forward.
Member Nelson.
I want to ask you one question, Tom. His wife worked in finance. Did she have access to any funds?
No, she was a budget officer, and she was, again, she was not found to have done any wrongdoing, but she did not control any dollars other than budget. And budget is not actual dollars, no physical.
It's paperwork.
And she is no longer working for the city.
Okay, thank you.
Member Moscoso.
Thank you. I'm sure we'll discuss this at length in the next meeting. I was just curious, who is running the fraud hotline? Like, who has access to receive those calls?
The auditor, myself, and the assistant city manager. And it's not for public disclosure, but we have 3 people to ensure that not just one person is running.
And do people leave like voicemails? Is that how it works? Or if someone was going to call, what could they expect? Could they expect someone to actually pick up or to leave
No, it's
a
not
voicemail?
banned.
Okay.
But it will be responded to, quickly.
Okay.
We'll be monitoring it constantly. And there's 3 people
So just the 3 of you have access to
right
it?
now, yes.
Okay. Thank you.
They can leave a message or an email.
And I assume, I'm sorry.
Good.
And I assume that's anonymous. So I can call, I don't need to give a name, I can give details to you, and that will be investigated.
Right, there's no retaliation or retribution as far as people reporting, and any incidents or allegations will be immediately investigated.
But is it anonymous?
So our phone system records every phone call, so your phone number will show up on that email that is sent to us where it transcribes your voicemail. So that's, if you choose not to leave a name, you choose to call from a different number, but there will be, the phone number will register as if, and so would if you send an email, that email will register in the system.
But people won't have to identify themselves in order to
Correct.
get the complaint
No, ma'am.
looked into? Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Can I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
We're adjourned.
Can we?
I called this meeting back to order because there was one more item. Dr. Aker?
Yes, this is, unfortunately, this is going to be my last meeting as a member of the CRA. It's been an honor and a privilege. I've sat on this board for many, many years for multiple terms, and I've enjoyed it, but I've come to the point where I think can be more effective outside of the CRA at helping to further the development in downtown, and I think now's the time that I do that. But thank you very much. It's been an honor.
On behalf of the city of Titusville, we're very much appreciative of your service to our community, and we wish you all the best in downtown and helping us make Titusville the best place to live. Dr. Stokel?
This is really quick. Thank you for always championing more parking in downtown with me. I appreciate you, and I will miss you. Yes, yes.
All right. Anything else? All right. I'm going to assume there's a motion to adjourn from Member Nelson, and then we are adjourned again.